Een begraafplaats in Los Angeles. Hier rust sinds 1957 regisseur James Whale, die beroemd werd door zijn Frankenstein-films. Regisseur Bill Condon vertelt in Gods and Monsters over de laatste dagen van de van oorsprong Britse regisseur Whale, een van de eerste die in Hollywood openlijk uitkwam voor zijn homoseksualiteit. Ian McKellen is genomineerd voor een Oscar voor zijn rol als James Whale.
What's your fascination with James Whale?
It starts with the movies. I discovered his movies in college, and I've seen almost all of them now. And I think he did something for the first time, I think, in movie history. He showed that within the space of a few moments, you could laugh, you could scream, you could cry, combining all these different tones and textures into a scene. Just showing that things didn't have to be just one thing. I think it really always amazed me. He has an incredible eccentric sense of humor that he put into all of his movies. No one else could have made any one of those films except for him. Frankenstein was like Jaws in its day. I mean, there's a great story he always told about this first sneak preview of Frankenstein in Santa Barbara. And they all stayed overnight at the Biltmore Hotel, and he got a call at 2 in the morning. The guy said, "Are you the guy who made Frankenstein?" "Yes." "Well, I couldn't sleep and I wanted to make sure you couldn't either." People were terrified.
Do you portray James Whale accurately in your film?
I think so, I really do. Both Ian and I talked to anybody we could get our hands on who knew him. And specifically a friend of mine, Curtis Harrington, a director, and Gloria Stewart, who was in Titanic and who made 2 movies with James Whale, The Invisible Man and The Old Dark House, saw the movie and both said that they felt that Ian had really conjured him, that it was like having him back, you know.
He retired in early 40s.
Yes.
After making his last films,
Yeah.
and then he withered away in a sense. Is that?
No, he had a wonderful life. I mean, most of this was by choice. You know, he started late. He was already in his 50s. He realized the career was not really going to revive itself. The material he was getting was terrible, and also suddenly he had to work in the studio system that he'd kind of been protected from when he'd worked at Universal. He walked away from it and had a life that was filled with painting and reading and entertaining, and that was a very nice life for a while, but you know, a sort of gentleman's life in retirement too early, you know. And I think I'd hate to make a tragic figure or some kind of martyr out of him. What happened is that toward the end of this life he had these strokes, and it was just going to get worse, and so he decided to check out, you know. Recently, Sight and Sound, the British film magazine, did a poll of international film critics, the top films of all time, 360, not just American, of international, and he had 4 movies on the list. And I don't know that George Cukor had any. You know, so it is interesting that he didn't live to see the beginning of that Sight and Sound, you know, director as auteur sort of re-examination of directors. So he would, I think, be totally stunned by everything that's happened to his reputation.
Which add to the sadness of his figure, of course.
I think so, absolutely.